Guys, this is Nurse Jet, Nursing the Truth, and I'm just trying to make a video real quick. I had a subscriber want to know about Anubis, the God Star, and where is that in the Old Testament. Well, if you look in the book of Job, it talks about the belt of Orion and the Meseroth, which is the zodiac, and that kind of gives a little history about the star system, Sirius. Okay, now, and Canis Major, which is the brightest star in the night sky, that's also considered Anubis, the God star or the dog star. Um, and so, really, Sirius in history, um, it just gave a lot, excuse me, of Egyptian symbolism, like in ancient Egypt. For instance, Osiris, the god of life, death, fertility, rebirth, was connected with Sirius because every year, just prior to the heliacal rising of the sun, of the star of Isis, the river Nile flooded its banks. And even though the flood could and did often bring death and destruction, it also brought about a revitalization of the Nile Valley by depositing a layer of fertile silt, which was perhaps a fitting celebration of the everlasting cycles of life. So, like the Egyptians, the ancient Greeks and Romans associated this time of the year with hot weather known as the dog days of summer. And see, that's why the wonderful dog Anubis is associated with that. And that runs from July 3rd to August 11th, but incorrectly surmised that during the dog days, the earth became hotter due to the combined heat and luminosity of Sirius and the sun. Now, Sirius rises late in the dark, liquid sky on summer nights, star of stars. Orion's dog, they call it brightest of all, but an evil portent, bringing that heat and fevers to suffering humanity. Around 70 BCE, Greek astronomer Gymnius put toward a more scientific explanation of the phenomenon as he wrote, "It is generally believed that Sirius produces the heat of the dog days, but this is an error, for the star merely marks a season of the great year when the sun's heat is the greatest." So the dog star is well represented in the mythologies of many cultures, and references to the star can be traced all the way to the Neolithic times. To the ancient Greeks, Sirius in Canis Major represented Orion's faithful hunting dog, which each night would help his master chase the constellation of Lepus, the hare, across the sky. One of the most enchanting tales associated with Sirius' long history, however, comes from India, where the star is known as Savana, the faithful dog of Prince Yudhishthira. The story relates the journey that this prince, in the company with his dog and his 4 brothers, once undertook to find the kingdom of heaven. However, the journey proved too arduous for the fickle brothers, who each abandoned the search in favor of more earthly pleasures and desires. After a long and dangerous journey, the prince found the entrance to heaven, but the gatekeeper, Lord Indra, would not allow the dog Savannah to enter heaven with his master prince. So it's funny how you see all these things, and Anubis is the keeper, the gateway, the guardian of the way. So let's go to another site. Also, we do know that the coming of Osiris was the savior of Egypt and was associated with the star in the east because the Egyptians recognized that the rising of Sirius with the sun, just like we said before. Regarding the role of Sirius, or Sothis, in Egyptian mythology, Sothis, the morning star Sirius, seen by Egyptians as a goddess. In Egypt, the star disappears below the horizon once a year for a period of some 70 days. Its reappearance in midsummer marked the beginning of the annual inundation of the Egyptian year, and the star's rising was also seen as a harbinger of the sunrise. In addition, the pyramid text states, Horus, the pointed, has come forth from thee, in his name of Horus, who was in Sothis. Horus in Sothis therefore refers to when the sun rises with Ceres. Thus, in ancient texts, we find the birth of Horus, the sun, associated with the star in the east. So you see now where all the mythologies are leading to the Jesus, the Christ, the Horus, the sun, the stars in the east, the Orion's belt. In ancient texts, we find the birth of Horus, the sun, associated with the star in the east. Orion and the three kings. As important as Ceres was to life in Egypt, associated with the renewal of the land around the Nile and was memorialized in Egyptian religion mythology, so too did the constellation of Orion figure prominently in Egyptian culture. In fact, it was observed that as the rising of Ceres signaled the beginning of the summer and the solstice. Within the constellation of Orion the Hunter are three bright stars said to make up his belt. Concerning these stars in the geography of the heavens, renowned Christian astronomer Elijah Hinsdale remarks, they are sometimes denominated the three kings. Now listen to me what I just said. The Christian astronomer Elijah Hinsdale Barrett, Burritt, remarks, they are sometimes denominated the three kings because they point out the Hyades and the Pleiades on one side and Ceres or the dog star on the other. In Job, they are called the bands of Orion. I'm so glad that I know this Bible, and I'm so glad that I can teach people, because I didn't even read this, and what I'm saying is okay. So the biblical book of Job 38:32 also contains reference to the Mazzaroth or zodiac and demonstrates significant astronomy knowledge, an important fact in consideration of the content that centuries later the Jewish priesthood rehashed the Egyptian astrology in its Mishrashic or fictitious account of Jesus. The three highly visible king stars of the splendid constellation of Orion are named Mintaka, Anatak, Analam, and Alnilam, and the latter parts are which means string of pearls, while the former two signify belt. The statement in the Egyptian text that Sothis leads Orion thus constitute the motif of the bright star followed by these three kings, which has also been called the Three Kings or the Soothsayers, a title that may indicate the antiquity of this royal appellation. So, the dog star, the star of God, the Sothis star, the belt of Orion, in the zodiac, the dog, the gateway to heaven. So now you have the information that you need. That this dog star, the belt of Orion, the Ceres, Sothis, Anubis, is in the book of Job. Hope you've enjoyed this short video and continue to search for the truth. And as God Thoth always said, when you search for the truth and you find the truth, then the truth will set you free, my friends. Hotep, and have a great evening. Goodbye.